everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're going to do something a little bit different today where I discuss my writing practice. Something that I have mentioned in previous videos is the fact that I'm a writer or aspiring writer, I guess. And one of the things that I've wanted to do since I was a kid is to write novels. It's been a lifelong dream of mine. And obviously some of the difficulties and issues that I have faced in my life have led to me not committing to being a writer and not committing to the practice of writing. So what I did in December was I started this book. I don't know how to flip the video, but it's The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It is one of the books that is highly recommended for people when they start any type of creative practice, but especially writing. And I will say that I have not read the book all the way through. Julia Cameron talks about 2 specific tools that are helpful when you are trying to commit to a creative life and actually put your creativity out into the world. And one of them is writing morning pages. Morning pages is a stream of consciousness writing that you do first thing in the morning when you wake up. One of the things that turned me off with the book when I first read it, which I started it at the beginning of last year in 2022, but one of the things that really turned me off with it was the fact that she basically said that if you want to do your creative practice enough, that you will find a way to wake up before everybody else and do your morning pages, which I just feel is a little bit privileged. I have 2 small kids. Up until this year, it has not been practical for me to try to wake up early because I need to get as much sleep as I can. When I wake up, I make breakfast for everyone, so sitting down has not been the first thing to happen for me. When my son started school, that changed, but there was also an adjustment period, and I also used to think I wasn't a morning person. I returned to this idea after I got my ADHD diagnosis and I was able to become medicated for it. I don't take anything that is like crazy intense, but it helps me to align my focus and it helps me to get things done, and it has helped me align more with morning practices. I found now that I am able to get more done during the day, specifically in the morning. That is when I seem to have like my prime time of like creativity and everything. So what I did was I wrote morning pages off and on, and as you know from my other videos, I also started my journaling practice. But in December, I decided that I really needed to commit full-heartedly to writing morning pages and writing them the way that they are intended to be written, at least from the book The Artist's Way. The other tool that Julia Cameron mentions in this book at the very beginning is the artist date, which is where you take yourself out on a weekly artist date, where you don't back out of it or you don't allow yourself to make excuses for not doing it. It is something that I try to engage in when I'm able to, but finding time for myself is very difficult, so it doesn't always include leaving the house and going and doing something. So I have not focused on that aspect of practice as of yet, but I've done over 100 days of morning pages, excuse me. And I have found that it has completely enlivened not only my writing practice, but also my creative practice as a whole. I wake up first thing in the morning and at 5 a.m. and now my husband actually gets up at the same time, so I do make him breakfast first, and I get I make us both coffee, and then I sit down, and following that routine has been very helpful. Sitting down and writing 3 pages, stream of consciousness, that is what the morning pages are. I will say that I do follow somewhat of a format. I try, it is hard when you don't know what to write, so I get myself started by recording my dreams because I've always been interested in dream work, and I have Even though I do have a lot of reoccurring relapse dreams, I also do have some things that come through that are interesting when I can remember them. So being able to remember your dreams happens when you, or at least it's supposed to happen more when you record your dreams, and I have found that to be true. So I usually start off with recording my dreams, and then I usually go from there. Sometimes I have 3 pages of nothing but dream recordings. Sometimes I go past 3 pages depending on what I have. Other times I go into my routine or like what I did the day before. There is really no rhyme or reason to what I say. Pretty much the dream record is the only consistent part of it, and there are times when I don't do that. What I found is that I really enjoy the consistency. As somebody who is neurodivergent and who has such a hectic life, having a structured time schedule of when I do certain things has been very helpful to me in all aspects of life, not just with morning pages. But I also have just found I went through a very big creative spurt, I think at the beginning of February, where I wrote a small narrative chapbook of poetry. I wrote a bunch of poems. I finally got the energy and wherewithal to format everything on the computer and actually send it out for some submissions. And I was just getting like daily downloads of different little snippets. Not everything was a full poem. It has not progressed my writing as far as like novels are concerned, but I am exploring other books written that are written for writers to continue mining for practices that can help me address this. I will say that it is a practice that I am going to keep for myself. I am going to continue with morning pages. There are a few days in I think it's like I'm on day 105. There have been less than 10 days that I've missed, and I've not missed any, like I've not gone through like a long period where I have missed morning pages. And even if I don't sit down first thing in the morning, I do try to get to them eventually. That being said, I tend to notice a difference if I don't do it. If I'm not able to sit down and do that first thing in the morning, I just feel almost weighed down by the fact that I haven't gotten these thoughts and things out onto a page. I also think that it has helped me as far as just feeling more confident. It's really difficult when you're a creative person. It took me a long time to call myself a writer, which I still struggle with, and to call myself an artist. I would say that I probably still struggle with that, even though I try to claim it a little bit more now, but a daily practice has definitely been helpful. I think the most important thing that you can take away from morning pages is that you can't beat yourself up about it. There have been a handful of days where I've had to miss, and that was pretty much unavoidable. We all have busy lives, there are things going on, and we can't always control what exactly we need to deal with. Next week, my daughter is having an ear tubes procedure, and so I am assuming that I might not get to my morning routine every single day. You have to be able to roll with the punches. You have to be able to go along with when there is a little kink in your routine, and that is something that I struggle with. Routine is like a very fundamental thing that I focus on in our home life, just within my family, and now as a creative person as well. But I think that if you are looking to jumpstart a creative practice, whether it's journaling, whether it's writing, being an artist, whatever it is that you're looking to do, I think that writing morning pages is a good place to start. It is an easy way with directions of where you can show up regularly and do something, and it doesn't take so much time that it feels overwhelming. I will say Starting off with 1 page, I think, is even better. Julia Cameron says that you need to write 3 pages. I found this to be helpful also, although I don't always write 3 pages, and I have stuck to, or I moved back into an A5 notebook for this process. But I think that if you get overwhelmed at the prospect of writing 3 pages like that you could start with 1 page and work up from there. It's about small steps. It's about doing things in a way that makes sense for you. And I think that we all need to be a little bit more tender and forgiving with ourselves when it comes to these things. I think that practicing the inner self-talk and not telling yourself that you should be doing something is one of the more positive things that you can do for yourself. Saying, well, I should be writing my morning pages. That's not helpful to you. It's not going to help you grow, and it's not going to help ground you in your creativity either. So as long as morning pages doesn't become another way for you to berate yourself as far as like your consistency and showing up, I think that it is something that is very helpful to incorporate into your days. I think just allowing for more flexibility than what the Artist Way actually shows when they introduce the idea of morning pages is very important, because we're all living life and life is unpredictable. So that is it. I'm probably going to make this a little bit of a series where I talk about my writing practice and my creative practice as a whole, just to kind of share with you guys the things that have worked for me and the things that have helped me get over certain difficulties when it comes to consistency and when it comes to just giving yourself over to the process. That being said, I'm not an expert, so please don't take anything that I say as a hard and fast rule. This is all my experience, and every experience is going to be different. I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I hope that you get to be creative today.